The mountains of Italy rise silently now, their jagged peaks etched against the winter sky. Yet in the early months of 1944, they echoed with a symphony of fear, courage, and destruction. Atop one of these peaks stood the Abbey of Monte Cassino, a centuries-old sanctuary. A treasure of human history, perched like a crown on a rocky hill above the Liri Valley. Its walls had weathered earthquakes, sieges, and centuries of history, yet nothing in its thousand-year existence had prepared it for what was about to come. To the Allied planners, Monte Cassino was more than a hill. It was a key, a gateway to Rome. To the German defenders, it was an unyielding fortress, a linchpin at the Gustav Line that could not fall. Snow blanketed the slopes, rain turned mud into a quagmire, and jagged cliffs carved a natural defense almost as formidable as the men who held them. For thousands of soldiers from New Zealand, India, Britain, America, and Poland, the fight to seize Monte Cassino would become a nightmare, etched in history. For assaults, months of attrition, tens of thousands of casualties, and one ancient abbey reduced to rubble, this is the story of Monte Cassino. A battle of strategy, courage, and heartbreak, where the path to Rome was carved through fire, blood, and determination. Monte Cassino was no ordinary hill. Its steep slopes, jagged rocks, and commanding view over the Liri Valley made it a natural fortress. Beneath it, the Gustav Line stretched across Italy, a series of trenches, bunkers, and minefields designed to stop the Allies from advancing north. For the Germans, it was their shield. For the Allies, their gateway. Capturing Monte Cassino meant breaching the Gustav Line, opening the road to Rome, and delivering a psychological blow to Axis forces across Italy. The Germans were prepared. Veteran soldiers of the 10th Army had transformed the abbey and surrounding terrain into a near-impenetrable defense. Artillery positions hugged cliffs, machine gun nests guarded every ridge, and snipers could pick off soldiers even before they reached the first trench. Any frontal assault promised staggering losses. For Allied commanders, the challenge was enormous. Past attempts to breach the Gustav Line had faltered. Terrain, weather, and entrenched defenders combined into what? A deadly mixture that had already repelled dozens of attacks elsewhere in Italy. The solution demanded ingenuity, coordination, and sometimes sheer brute force. The first attempt to capture Monte Cassino began in the freezing days of January 1944. New Zealand and Indian divisions spearheaded the assault. Soldiers trudged through snow and ice, their boots sinking into mud, their rifles slick with rain and frost. Each step forward was met with a hail of German fire artillery shells screamed overhead. Bullets shredded the air, and trenches became tombs. Accounts from soldiers revealed the human dimension of this hell. One New Zealander described climbing a narrow ridge as comrades fell beside him, their bodies disappearing into the mud. "Every step was a miracle," he wrote, "and every second, we wondered if it would be our last. Yet retreat was impossible. Morale depended on momentum. Survival depended on advancing. Despite extraordinary bravery, the first assault failed. The German defenders, familiar with every ridge and crevice, held the line. The abbey itself remained untouched, looming above the battlefield like an indifferent observer. Tens of thousands of Allied soldiers had fought through mud, snow, and fire, only to be repelled. Little-known fact, during this assault, a group of Indian soldiers, the Gurkhas, performed an extraordinary feat of endurance, scaling cliffs under machine gun fire with ropes and ladders to outflank German positions. Many would not survive, yet their courage became a legendary tale among the troops. By mid-February, Allied commanders knew that conventional assaults alone would not suffice. Air bombardment was called in. More than 230 tons of explosives were dropped on the abbey, flattening centuries-old walls and reducing it to a heap of rubble. The abbey's library, manuscripts, and priceless artworks were lost forever. Yet the Germans adapted swiftly. Soldiers moved into the ruins, turning debris into improvised fortifications. They dug trenches in the rubble, set up sniping positions among the stones, and rigged explosives to collapse walls onto advancing troops. What was once a sanctuary now became a fortress of death. British and American divisions launched the second assault, advancing through shattered stone and dust clouds. Soldiers struggled to navigate the debris, artillery shells exploding nearby, sending plumes of rock and smoke into the sky. Despite the devastation from the bombing, progress was agonizingly slow, and casualties were enormous. A particularly harrowing story comes from a British platoon trapped in the rubble. Cornered by German snipers, they improvised makeshift shelters using fallen stones and rubble. For hours, they fought in freezing conditions, rationing ammunition, and holding their positions until reinforcements arrived. Their survival became a testament to human resilience amidst unimaginable chaos. By March, the responsibility of leading the attack fell to the Polish II Corps. Polish soldiers had endured some of the harshest winters in Europe, and their discipline and resolve were legendary. Yet Monte Cassino tested them as no battle before. Polish troops climbed sheer slopes, crawled under barbed wire, and faced relentless artillery and machine gun fire. Mortar exploded in the valley below, sending clouds of smoke and dust into the air, while snipers picked off any exposed soldier. Diaries from this period speak of freezing nights, exhaustion, and the emotional toll of seeing comrades fall in staggering numbers. Amidst the horror, small acts of humanity emerged. Soldiers shared rations, wrote letters home in the mud, and comforted dying comrades. These moments, brief and fragile, contrasted sharply with the relentless violence around them. Even as Polish forces advanced, inch by inch, German defenses held firm. Monte Cassino seemed almost alive, each ridge, trench, and cliff a silent observer, testing the resolve of those who dared to climb it. Yet the Poles pressed on, displaying a mixture of discipline, courage, and desperation that would eventually wear down the defenders. The final assault was a coordinated effort, combining American, British, and Polish units. By May, months of attrition had weakened the German positions. Soldiers, exhausted from months of combat, now advanced with the grim knowledge that victory could not come easily. Artillery barrages cleared paths, engineers removed obstacles, and infantry moved forward under a hail of fire. Coordination was key. Signals were sent across the mountains, directing movements and preventing friendly fire. Every step was measured, every decision could mean life or death. On May 18th, the final breakthrough occurred. German lines crumbled under relentless pressure, and Monte Cassino finally fell to the Allies. The abbey lay in ruins, a tragic monument to the destruction of war, yet the road to Rome was now open. Allied troops advanced, and within weeks, they would enter the Italian capital, striking a decisive blow to Axis control in southern Europe. Monte Cassino was a battle of immense human cost. Tens of thousands of soldiers from all sides were killed, wounded, or missing. Civilians in nearby towns endured terror, displacement, and destruction. The abbey itself, centuries old, had been reduced to rubble, manuscripts, art, and architecture lost forever. Yet amidst the devastation, the courage and resilience of ordinary men and women stood out. Soldiers endured freezing nights, starvation, exhaustion, and fear. Engineers navigated minefields. Medics tended to the wounded under fire. Each act of bravery, no matter how small, contributed to a victory that reshaped the Italian campaign. After the war, the abbey was painstakingly rebuilt. Today, it stands not only as a monument to faith and history, but as a testament to sacrifice, courage, and perseverance. Monte Cassino reminds us that, in war, victories are often measured not just in territory, but in the endurance of the human spirit. Monte Cassino was not merely a military engagement. It was a test of planning, adaptation, and determination. Allied commanders learned that raw force was insufficient. Careful coordination between infantry, artillery, and air support was crucial. They also learned the harsh lesson that civilian and cultural sites can become theaters of tragedy during war. The battle also demonstrated the resilience of soldiers. Despite freezing weather, treacherous terrain, and brutal casualties, men continued to advance, improvised, adapted, and survived in conditions that would have broken lesser armies. Monte Cassino was a crucible, forging both heroism and tragedy. The fall of Monte Cassino opened the path to Rome, marking a pivotal moment in the Italian campaign. But the price was staggering, a stark reminder that even victories come with profound human costs. In the mountains of Italy, Monte Cassino now reases silently, a testament to history, faith, and human courage. Yet the echoes of 1944 remain a reminder that the path to freedom is often carved through rubble, fire, and blood. The road to Rome was opened not just by strategy, but by men and women who dared to climb a mountain of fire, who endured unimaginable hardship, and who faced death to secure a brighter future. Monte Cassino is etched into history as a story of horror, heroism, and the relentless pursuit of victory. And that concludes our journey into this extraordinary moment in history. If you enjoyed exploring the past with me, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss our next deep dive. Now it's your turn. What historical event should we uncover next? Share your ideas in the comments below, and your suggestion might be featured in a future video. Thanks for watching, and as always, Keep seeking the stories that shaped our world.